Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics. I'm Taylor Phillips, and welcome to Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker. You can also find this and all other episodes of Taylor's Detroit Sports on iHeartRadio. Straight and full Detroit and Michigan sports coverage 100% of the time. If you have any opinions on everything that's going on in the Detroit sports world, call in or send a text message live on the show at 231-429-3668. Also, you can add me on Facebook as Taylor Phillips, online at facebook.com/TaylorGatorPhillips14. Like my Facebook page, Taylor Phillips's Detroit Sports page. Join my Facebook group, Taylor Phillips's Detroit Sports Group. And follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips with 2 L's.
And welcome to episode 137. Today we're going to talk about how Michigan did against Illinois last night. We'll preview the Michigan State-Ohio State game at Breslin Center at noon tomorrow. We'll talk about Jimmy Howard starting for the Red Wings for the first time in a while. We'll also talk about Kirk Gibson returning to the Tigers TV broadcast team. And finally, 2 more Lions topics. But first, the Fighting Illini beat the Wolverines in overtime 64-52 in comeback fashion. With the Wolverines up 7 with less than 3 minutes left, the Fighting Illini rallied, sending the game into overtime as U of M failed to score over the final 3:13 of the half. In the second extra period game of the season between Michigan and Illinois, the Fighting Illini held the Wolverines to just 2 points, outscoring U of M 14-2 and going on for the win to snap an 8-game losing streak to the Maize and Blue. Illinois outscored U of M 21-2 over the final 8 minutes of the game. That's one of the things that's a joke. Junior guard Spike Albrecht led the Wolverines, posting his 4th straight game, scoring in double figures with a team-best 13 points as he tied a career best with 6 field goals made while adding 5 assists and playing a career-high 42 minutes. Senior forward Max Bielfeldt followed with 12 points and 7 rebounds, while sophomore guard Zach Irvin was held to 8 points. Michigan and Illinois could not find the basket after the tip, as both teams were combined 0 for 10 during the first 4 minutes of the game. Cameron Chapman finally snapped the game scoreless drought as he hit a pair of free throws for Illinois. Illinois tied the game a minute later on a Cameron Chapman for Michigan. Illinois tied the game a minute later on a LeBron Black putback. Black's bucket spurred the Illini on as they went on an 8-4 run to build a 10-6 lead going into the game's first media timeout. Coming out of the timeout, Bielfeldt keyed U of M a 6-0 run, forcing Illinois coach John Gross, or Grossi, however you pronounce that, to call a timeout. Bielfeldt had 2 inside buckets, 2 rebounds, and a steal during the run as well, helping clear the way for a 16-foot jumper by Aubrey Dawkins as U of M reclaimed the lead 14-10. As the first half continued to grind along with missed opportunities on both ends, Illinois went cold going 0 for 7, but U of M could not take advantage as the Wolverines could only extend their lead to 22-16 with 2 minutes remaining. Illinois' John Starks helped bring the crowd back into the game as he scored 4 of his 9 first half points, draining a jumper and following with a steal and lay-in to cut the lead to just 2, 22-20 with 50 seconds remaining. And that's the way the half would end. The Wolverines held the Illini to their lowest scoring half of the season. After Illinois' Jalen Tate quickly tied the game after intermission, the Wolverines went on an 8-0 run, highlighted by an Albrecht nifty layup and another inside bucket from Bielfeldt. After a near 3.5-minute Illinois scoreless drought, Kendrick Nunn drained a three-pointer as the shot clock expired to cut into U of M's lead. However, Irvin responded on the other end with a triple of his own. Not to be outdone, Nunn came right back down and nailed his second straight long-range bucket, a 3. U of M countered it as Dawkins drained his first three-pointer of the game as the Wolverines maintained their 8-point advantage, 36-28. Illinois used a 5-0 run to cut its deficit to 3, 40-35. Albrecht made a circus shot after losing control of the ball midway up on his layup attempt. Following another media timeout, both teams' offensive games caught fire. An Irvin three-pointer was answered by a McCallum Hill 3 on the other end, and a Bielfeldt mid-range jumper was balanced by a Tate bucket. Despite the back-and-forth play, U of M held on to a 6-point lead, 48-42 with 4 minutes left. After Albrecht put the Wolverines back up 5, Illinois capitalized on 2 missed U of M baskets to make a jumper and follow with a three-pointer to tie the game 50-50 with 15.1 seconds remaining. With 3 fouls to give, Illinois used all 3 to stop the clock with 4.5 seconds remaining. After a beeline timeout, U of M could not inbound the ball as a scrum for the ball ended up as a U of M foul. Illinois' last-second attempt fell short, sending the game to overtime. Illinois took advantage in the early period, in the extra period early, scoring the first 6 points to take a commanding lead, 56-50. After three Wolverine turnovers, the Illini put the game away, holding the Maize and Blue to just 2 points in overtime. Michigan will have a weekend bye before heading into a key home week as the Wolverines host rivals Michigan State and Ohio State. U of M will begin the week hosting the Spartans on Tuesday, February 17th at Chrysler Center and a 9 p.m. tip-off. The game will be part of ESPN's Super Tuesday package. The game will be the second regular season matchup after the two teams played a little more than 2 weeks ago. In a game featuring 21 lead changes, U of M battled rival MSU down to the wire on February 1st and forced overtime at the Breslin Center before losing in the extra period 76-66. It was tied at 66 at the end of regulation in that game. And the Spartans outscored the Wolverines 10-0. The Illini then outscored the Wolverines 14-2. So both the last 2 overtime periods were on the road, and to do the math, to do a little math, the Wolverines were outscored 24-2 in their last 2 overtime periods. 24-2 in their last 2 overtime periods. Joke. share this on my Detroit Sports page here. You have any opinions on the Wolverine, how badly the Wolverines have been doing in overtime lately? For example, you can call in at 231-429-3668. You can also text in at 231-429-3668. But please give me your name and town in the text messages, please. Thank you very much. Speaking of Michigan State, they play Ohio State tomorrow at noon at Breslin Center on Valentine's Day. On ESPN, Bob Wisjusen and Dan Dakich on the call on ESPN. Will Tiemann, Gus Kanakis, and Max Skyginja on the Spartan Sports Network. On the radio, you can download the Spartan Sports Network mobile app or listen 24/7 on SpartanSportsNetwork.com. The opening tip, Michigan State hosts Ohio State in the only meeting of the season between the Spartans and Buckeyes. MSU and OSU are two of the four conference teams with 4 Big Ten losses. The Spartans lead the Big Ten in field goal percentage defense, and 3-point field goal percentage defense, while the Buckeyes, ranked 23rd, ranked second in both categories. The starting 5, the Spartan defense. On the season, MSU is limiting teams to 61.4 points on 38.5% field goal shooting, including 30% from 3-point range. The Spartans lead the Big Ten in field goal percentage defense and 3-point field goal percentage defense, while ranking 4th in scoring defense. In conference games, MSU ranks 2nd in field goal percentage defense, 394.394, 1st in 3-point field goal percentage defense, 3.14, and 3rd in scoring defense, 62.7 points per game. The all-time lows of the Izzo era were a 3.79 field goal percentage in 2011-2012 and a 2.98 3-point field goal percentage in 2001-2002. Number 2, Dawson climbs rebounding chart. Brandon Dawson is on pace to finish among the all-time leaders in Michigan State career rebounding. With 792 career boards, he needs 11 to tie Lindsey Hairston, who was 803 for 10th place in MSU history. Number 3. Holy cow. Number 3, Valentine regains the outside touch. In 13 non-conference games, Denzel Valentine shot .500, 35 out of 70 from 3-point range. In the first 8 conference games, he shot just .289, 13 of 45, making 2 or more 3-pointers in just 4 games, including just 2 with more than 2. Beginning with the Michigan contest, he's shown signs of regaining the early season form, shooting .462, 12 of 26 over the last 3 games, hitting 4 3-pointers in each contest. Number 4, Valentine's versatility. Denzel Valentine is arguably the most versatile player in the Big Ten, and the numbers provide the evidence. The Spartan Jr. is the only player to rank in the top 15 in the Big Ten in scoring, 12th, rebounding 15th, and assists 7th. He also ranks in the top 15 in 3-point field goal range, 7th, which is ranked 7th. 3-point field goals made, ranked 3rd, assist-to-turnover ratio ranked 11th, and defensive rebounds ranked 6th. Ohio State's D'Angelo Russell is the only other player in the conference in the top 16 in scoring, 2nd, rebounds 6th, ranked 16th, and assists ranked 2nd. Number 5, Dawson's double-doubles. Brandon Dawson has posted double-doubles in 6 of 11 Big Ten games. Indiana and Iowa and at Maryland, Penn State at Rutgers. At home against Penn State and at Rutgers, and home against Michigan. Against Nebraska, you grabbed 18 rebounds, a personal best against a Big Ten opponent. Dawson has grabbed double-figure rebounds in 9 of 11 conference games, averaging a Big Ten best 11.2 rebounds per game in Big Ten play, 9.9 rebounds per game overall. He has 7 double-doubles this season and 19 for his career. MSU versus Ohio State notes. Series history: Michigan State leads the all-time series with Ohio State 67-57, including a 42-17 advantage in games played in East Lansing. The Spartans have won 27 of the last 41 games in this series. Tom Izzo is 22-14 in his career against the Buckeyes. The last 10 games in the series have each been decided by 10 points or less. 6 of the last 7 games, including the last 3 in East Lansing, have been decided by 4 points or less. Coach Thad Matta, is .396-120 in his 15th season as a collegiate head coach, including .294-89 in his 11th season at Ohio State. Prior to his arrival in Columbus, he served as a head coach at Xavier for 3 seasons, and started at Butler in '90 for 1 year. The last meeting, Ohio State defeated Michigan State 69-67 on March 9, 2014 in Columbus. The Spartans shot 51.9% from the field in the first half, including 60% from three-point range to hold the 38-36 lead at the break. Midway through the second half, Adrian Payne now in the NBA, scored 7 straight points during a 7-2 run to give the Spartans a 65-60 lead with 6:56 remaining. For the rest of the contest, however, MSU was 1 for 6 from the field and committed 5 turnovers in the final 6:27. The Spartans shot 90% from the foul line, but attempted just 10 compared to 31 attempts for the Buckeyes. MSU committed 16 turnovers as OSU held a 21-12 edge in points off turnovers. Payne led MSU with 23 points, while LaQuinton Ross led OSU with 22 points. The last meeting in East Lansing, Michigan State defeated Ohio State 72-68 in overtime on January 7, 2014 in East Lansing, leading 37-32 with 13:50 remaining. MSU appeared to put the game away with a 13-2 run over the next 3:37, bumping the lead up to 17 points at 55-38. To that point, MSU had 6 turnovers for the game, but committed 10 in the final 7:14 of the second half. Ohio State closed it on a 20-3 run to force overtime. The Buckeyes had a shot to win at the buzzer as Shannon Scott stole the ball and had a breakaway layup, but missed due to Keith Appling's defense. In the extra stanza, back-to-back three-pointers from Kenny Kaminsky and Adrian Payne gave MSU a 65-61 lead. Still, OSU fought back and tied the game at 66 on a Sam Thompson three-pointer with 1:10 remaining. Appling put MSU ahead for good with a three-pointer with 29 seconds left. He then sealed the win by knocking down 3 of 4 free throws in the final 14 seconds. Appling finished with 20 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds, while Payne came off the bench to score 18 points, although he would miss the next 7 games with a foot sprain. Sam Thompson led OSU with 18 points. MSU hit 11 of 19 three-pointers compared to just 4 of 18 for OSU. The Buckeyes held a dominant 42-28 edge on the glass. In conference games, Ohio State ranked 3rd in the Big Ten in both field goal percentage defense, 402, and a three-point field goal percentage defense, 322. In Big Ten play, freshman D'Angelo Russell leads the conference in scoring 21.3 and assists, 5.7 average per game, while ranking 2nd in three-point field goals made, 2.9. In all games, Shannon Scott's 6.2 average per game and Russell 5.5 average per game, ranked 1st and 2nd in the Big Ten in assists. The Spartans are coming off a 68-44 win over Northwestern this past Tuesday, earlier this week. MSU led 10-6. And then they hit 6 straight three-pointers. And then before the Wildcats scored 4 straight points to pull within 3 points at 13-10. Bryn Forbes hit a three-pointer for MSU, but Trey Demps answered with a 3 of his own, making the score 16-13 with 10:47 left in the first half. Marvin Clark Jr. knocked down a three-pointer, followed by back-to-back threes from Forbes and a 3 from Denzel Valentine. Brandon Dawson scored on a jumper, and Clark Jr. and Travis Trice followed with threes. When Tum Tum Nairn Jr. hit a baseline jumper, MSU's run stood at 22-0, and the Spartans held a 38-13 lead. Demps stopped the run with a free throw as MSU led 38-14 at the break. In the second half, MSU pushed the lead out to 35 points at 58-23 with 11:27 left in the contest. I want your prediction. Who do you think will win? Michigan State or Ohio State? And give me the score in this college basketball game tomorrow. 231-429-3668. I want you to give me your analysis. Call in live or text in at 231-429-3668. Name and town, please. Thank you. I'll get to a little MLB news in a minute. First off, let's get to some hockey and the Red Wings. Jimmy Howard is starting tomorrow. As the Wings take on the Winnipeg Jets. Puck dropped at 7 on Fox Sports Detroit at Joe Louis Arena. Jimmy Howard was having a fantastic season before his groin injury that forced him to miss the next 11 games, including the All-Star game, plus the All-Star game. He has complied to a 16-7-7 record with a 2.09 goals against average and a .92 save and a .920 save percentage in 33 games played. He played the third period Wednesday after goaltender Peter Mrazek allowed 4 goals in a 4-1 loss at Pittsburgh Wednesday. Howard didn't get a ton of work, stopping all 4 shots faced in 20 minutes, but it was a good test before he makes his first start in 5 weeks. Peter Mrazek was 8-2-0 while Howard and Jonas Gustafsson recovered from injury. The rookie's immediate future is unknown, though. He will serve as Howard's backup Saturday. I heard that Mrazek is facing a possibility of going back to Grand Rapids last night. With Johan Franzen on the injured reserve, the Wings have room to keep Mrazek on the roster. However, he may be better off getting more consistent work with the Griffins. The refurbished Jets. This week, Winnipeg made the first significant deal prior to the March 2nd trade deadline by acquiring big right-handed shooting defenseman Tyler Myers and forward Drew Stafford in a 7-player trade with Buffalo. In exchange, the Sabres received Zach Bogosian and Evander Kane. Currently fourth in the Central Division standings, the Jets are seeking just their second postseason berth in the franchise's 15-season history. Mike Babcock said of them, quote, "To me, they've been revamping themselves for a long time. When you look at the group, they have on their back. They really built a back end. And if you know their prospects, they got lots coming. I've known Chevy Jets GM Kevin Cheveldayoff a long time. He's a smart guy, and they're going about it with good patience, and suddenly they have maybe the best right-handed back end in hockey as far as the 3 guys they got on the right. So they've done a real good job there, and no question they're deep." Unquote. Other Red Wings news: Sergei Fedorov became the 24th Red Wing to enter the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame during an induction ceremony last night at Soundbound inside the Motor City Casino and Hotel. Jeff Moss of the Detroit Sports Rag wrote an article that the Red Wings should retire Sergei Fedorov's jersey number 91 immediately, and he pointed out that it should have been done a few years, a bit earlier. I think we all agree. Fedorov played for the Ducks in the 03-04 season. He also played for the Columbus Blue Jackets in the 06-07 season. Yeah, 15 minutes left. Let's go to some baseball news. The Tigers and Fox Sports Detroit announced Tuesday, written by Lynn Henning of the Detroit News, that their TV telecast team will expand in 2015 to a 3-man rotation of analysts with Kirk Gibson, Jack Morris, and Rod Allen taking turns alongside play-by-play captain Mario Impemba. Well, any should refer to Mario Impemba as a captain. Play-by-play guy. Or just play-by-play announcers. The move means that Allen, who has been Impemba's broadcast co-pilot since 2003, will shift to a reduced role in accommodating Gibson and Morris, two Tigers greats from the team's 1980s World Series run. World Series run, who were Allen's teammates on the '84 championship club. A firm schedule for how 162 regular season games will be divided between the three has yet to be decided. FSD said Tuesday the addition of Gibson, the former Tigers outfielder and coach, ranked as Tuesday's big news. He worked as a Tigers TV analyst from 1998 to 2002 with Josh Lewin, and then Impemba before joining the staff of then-manager Alan Trammell in 2003. He returns to the Tigers following 8 years with the Diamondbacks, including the past 5 as manager. He said during a Tuesday phone interview that the decision to rejoin his old team was easy and appealing following a series of recent conversations with the Tigers and FSD. Gibson, at age 57, who still lives in Grosse Pointe with his wife Joanne, said, quote, "You can't go wrong coming home. I've always kept in touch with the people at FSD I worked with during the 90s and 2000s, and they're friends. Conversation became reality over a period of time, and having Jack back will be a cool deal too. There'll be some interesting insights. I can say I had a certain perspective as a player, and I always shared those on telecasts. But now having managed, I think it'll help the viewers understand certain situations that much better," unquote. Morris had a 6-game cameo as a Tigers analyst alongside Impemba and Allen late in 2004 as FSD began considering the idea of adding an analyst or two for 2015. He has had extensive stints with the Blue Jays and Twins as a radio and TV broadcaster, and will be counted on, not surprisingly, to offer insight one of baseball's best right-handed pitchers from the past 40 years is being asked to provide. Allen has been in the Tigers booth since 2003, and for the past decade has worked virtually exclusively with Impemba as part of a two-man team that has put an indelible imprint on the Tigers' audience. Speaking from Los Angeles, where he was attending Fox Sports Network meetings, Allen preferred to focus on news he considered to be upbeat. Courtney Welch, a spokeswoman for FSD, said Tuesday that FSD might also have roles in mind for Gibson, Morris, and Allen as part of pregame and postgame studio voices. Craig Monroe, who has been a regular in that role the past 3 seasons, will return in 2015. Although there could be occasions when the Tigers will consider a 3-man booth, Gibson mentioned opening day as a possibility that had been discussed. The Tigers intend to opt for more of a shared time rotation. Gibson is expected to work in the vicinity of 60 games, with Allen and Morris dividing the remainder. Morris's role will be somewhat constrained by the fact he will assume a role perhaps unprecedented in modern-day baseball broadcast booths. Morris, at age 59, will be an analyst for 2 teams as he retains his role to continue to work on Minnesota Twins telecasts for FS North. So What do you think of all this? 231-429-3668 is the number to call and text in. Name and town. I think it's a good move because Mario Impemba and Rod Allen haven't been getting along very well. And Kirk Gibson is a lot smarter, although Rod Allen may be intentionally entertaining. Now the final before I get to that, I just heard that MLB, from Bleacher Report, can MLB realistically shrink the strike zone? They said on Facebook that MLB could pull it off, but it won't be easy. I think it's not a good idea. There's a statement that reads, Major League Baseball is considering altering the textbook definition of the strike zone for the first time in nearly 2 decades, fearful that the proliferation of the low strike has sapped too much offense from the game. The concern around baseball about the strike zone filtered down to the MLB's Playing Rules Committee, which must formally adopt a rules change before it's implemented. The committee will pay close attention to the size of the strike zone in 2015 with an eye on change as early as 2016 after studies show it has expanded significantly since 2009, coinciding with a precipitous dip in run scoring, quote unquote. You can answer the poll question on Bleacher Report's article. Should MLB shrink the strike zone, yes or no? I just posted that article on my Facebook profile. Shrinking MLB strike zone is imperative, but can it be done without pain? Six and a half minutes left. Let's go to some Lions news. Defensive tackle Nick Fairley has been found guilty of reckless driving, but he was acquitted of his DUI charge in 2012. He was fined $500 for reckless driving. That's good for him. So all of that is behind Nick Fairley. He can start playing football again. He said, quote, I feel great. I just want to get this behind me and move forward. As it has been emotional, I'm ready to go back to Houston to start training, rehabbing, and getting ready for all these teams to come look at me, unquote. And the second Lions topic, three things to watch at Combine, the NFL Combine. With Reggie Bush's status up in the air, Detroit Lions could need another running back. I know they need an offensive line too, but running back is another concern. Justin Rogers of MLive.com writes a list and describes them. He's got 3 of them on hand. The first round option, Melvin Gordon from Wisconsin. If the Lions are looking to move on from Reggie Bush, Gordon offers an immediate replacement, the NFL scouting combine, an immediate replacement as a home run threat. The Wisconsin standout is extraordinary in the open field, averaging 7.8 yards per carry during his college career. The biggest concern The biggest concern is his limited effectiveness as a pass catcher. Number 2, the mid-round option, David Johnson from Northern Iowa. Johnson has a good build at 6'1", 229 pounds, and runs with ferocity when going north-south. But where he excels is coming out of the backfield. He can run routes to the intermediate levels and has shown excellent hands. The closest thing the Lions have to Joyce Bell insurance is George Wynn, and Johnson's size and skill set would allow him to better fill that role. And finally, number 3, the late round option, Marcus Murphy from Missouri. Murphy does a little bit of everything on offense, but isn't particularly good at any one thing. At 5'9", 195 pounds, you're unlikely to get much production between the tackles. Where he can be a game changer is as a return man. He recorded 7 special teams touchdowns the past 3 seasons, averaging 29.6 yards on kickoffs and 10.3 yards on punts in 2013. That's about all I covered for episode 137 of Taylor's Detroit Sports. I wish MSU good luck this year. The Detroit Red Wings mobile app has been updated. You can update it on your mobile phone and take a look at its new design. So that's going to do it for this episode of Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker and iHeartRadio, episode 137. I will talk to you Sunday at 11 on Blog Talk Radio. TTFN, ta-ta for now.